When I look back at a lot of firsts, right, that I've done and I've been able to do in my career, first player signed, first player to have a kid in the WNBA and come back, first player with a Nike shoe, first player with a triple-double. Things like that don't happen to a kid coming from Brownfield, Texas. It was a small town, not much to do. I grew up playing with my brothers and playing with their friends. It was serious. It was the NBA Finals every Sunday.
The Houston Comets are the first ever champions of the WNBA.
I knew at a very young age that my life would be different. I thought it had nothing to do with basketball. I thought I would be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader or a flight attendant. But then in the back of my mind, I also thought, if I continue to bounce this orange thing around and continue to work at it and get better at it, this could actually be my ticket. The first thought when I heard about the WNBA was, is this really gonna happen? That summer of '95 was when the national team was put together and I was chosen to be a part of that. You're talking about Teresa Edwards, Katrina McClain, Lisa Leslie, Donna Staley, Jennifer Azzi. I had never been around so much talent and incredible players on one team. I think we all felt a sense of responsibility. For us, it wasn't just about, now we're playing the Olympics. Obviously, we want to win gold. We're going to win gold. There was a much bigger mission. And that mission was to try and, and put women's basketball on the map. In that moment, we were the best team in the world. So once everything was out there and it was public, and yes, there's a WNBA and this is when it's starting, and being the first player to sign a contract to play with the WNBA, now in that moment, like it was real. And then I find out that I was pregnant. I was so torn. I felt like I'm letting the league down, I'm letting that 96 team down, I'm letting all these young women down. I was crushed. I wanted to be a part of the inaugural season. 6 weeks after I had my son, went to the doctor. He was like, you're good. You can go back to your normal exercises and things like that. But I was like, I want to play. I looked at the bigger picture and wanted to be able to show women just how tough and how strong we are. I think one of the toughest parts of being an athlete and being pregnant is the uncertainty. And the uncertainty of, will I ever be able to come back and not only be the player I was prior to the pregnancy, but for me, it was about being better and the time that it's gonna take to get back there. If my mom wouldn't have been around, I don't know if I would have played that first season. She took a lot of stress off of me worrying about what I was gonna do with my son when I was playing and having to travel. There were a couple of games that I would come out of the game before halftime and I would get in the locker room before everybody else was coming in so I could be a mom and breastfeed my child, and then I would give him back to his grandma. But that's another aspect of what it means to be a professional female athlete that a lot of people don't think about. It's so crazy for me to sit here and think about what my journey has been and the opportunities that because of basketball, I've been able to do a lot and see a lot. And when you're, in the spotlight and everything you do is scrutinized and people are watching and people are talking, it's so easy to get caught up in that. We really forget who we are as a human being. So, as a professional athlete, when your career is over and you're sitting there trying to figure out what does my life look like now? What defines me now? Who am I now? And you don't know, that could be a very, very tough and scary place to be. One thing that I personally have always struggled with is being Sheryl Swoopes. When I'm no longer on this earth, people are going to talk about, yeah, Sheryl Swoopes was a great basketball player. She did this, she was that, she was a Hall of Famer. But what are people going to say about Sheryl? And it wasn't until probably about 3 years ago that I finally realized I'm okay being Sheryl. People ask me, growing up, did you say, oh, I'm gonna have my own shoe someday? And I said, no. Honestly, I don't really know a lot of people, especially female athletes, who grow up and say, I'm gonna have my own signature shoe someday. Like, that just was unheard of to me. So I always say, there's a little girl out there somewhere that looks like me, that is probably questioning herself, saying, what am I going to do with my life? I would tell her to be the best version of herself that she can be.